Welcome to the 12 Universal Laws. Why are these universal laws so important? Because, for starters, these laws are what have been the basis of everything. From the tiniest atom to the largest sun, everything has stemmed from these laws. And these laws only give way to what is already in our minds. It is believed that the one who understands each of these laws to the fullest is the one to hold the key to the mystery of life, to being the master of this universe. And truth is, some of our ancient philosophers and thinkers believed and implemented these laws in their lives, which is why they were perpetually content and grateful for everything they ever received, because why were manifesting everything into their lives with their mere thoughts. Your thoughts are not just powerful, they're the key to your life. And it is only proven true by these laws. So, how about you consciously start using them to better your life and through that the world that we live in? The law of divine oneness. The first law states that everything is connected to everything else. What we think, say, do, or believe will have a corresponding effect on others, as well as the universe around us. According to the law, all of humanity and God are one. The energy of God is everywhere all at once, and it flows through everything, living or inanimate. Each soul is said to be part of God's energy. Ever heard the saying that there is a little bit of God in all of us? That God made us to be images of His own self. It's because of this law. Everything that exists, both seen or unseen, is connected to everything. When we become aware of this law and believe that everything is one, the way we think and act with respect to everyone and everything around us will change. We will see our own reflection in the people and things around us. It means that the more good we think about others, the better it comes back to us and becomes us. Everything in this universe is made up of energy: you, your friend, your enemy, the chair you sit on, the laptop you work on, and the phone you make calls on. And this energy is what governs the movement of everything in this universe. The law of vibration. According to this law, anything that exists in our universe, whether seen or unseen, broken down into and analyzed in its purest and most basic form, consists of pure energy or light which resonates and exists as a vibratory frequency or pattern. Some people call this your aura, which is also the color of the magnetic field you reflect. Every thought and every feeling has its own vibration. And these vibrations find similar frequencies when another object, person, thought or feeling give out the same vibration. That's why and how we find and connect with most like-minded people in this universe. It's because at that particular moment in time, they were on the same wavelength as us, because of a similar vibration. According to science, everything in the manifest universe is made up of packets of energy, the sizes of which are quantified by the amount of vibration and the frequency they give out. Quantum physicists say that matter, when observed through a high-powered microscope, appears to be broken into tiny molecules, atoms, neutrons, electrons and quanta, the smallest measurable particles in the universe. And it all begins in the thoughts we think. What you're feeling in the current moment determines your vibration and subsequently, the frequency you're on. The law of action. The law of action is what is required to manifest our thoughts and desires. In The Secret, it's what the author refers to as inspired action. Inspired action because the need to act on something will not feel like a force at all, and would be more of an instinctive doing. The law further states that you must do the things and perform the actions necessary to achieve what you are setting out to do. Unless you take actions that are in harmony with your thoughts and dreams and proceed in an orderly fashion towards what you want to accomplish, there will be absolutely no foreseeable results. It is said that this is where most people falter when it comes to applying the laws of the universe in their lives. Acting on our thoughts and words is almost always the most difficult thing to do. Thinking about something and talking about it is different from actually following through with it. But this also happens to be one of the most important laws of the universe in order to actually manifest the life we intend to live. Action sets into motion our thoughts and desires. Everything, from creating a to-do list to taking up an offer on instinct, corresponds to action that will, in turn, set your intentions into motion. The law of correspondence. As above, so below. As within, so without. This is the law of correspondence, in so many words. The universal law of correspondence states that the principles, or laws of physics that explain the physical world, energy, light, vibration, and motion have the corresponding principles in the etheric, or the higher, universe, that which is not material. Basically, whatever is above is like that which is below, and whatever is below is like that which is above. So, if you put it into simpler terms, whatever you are thinking or feeling within is exactly what is happening outside of your mind and body. And this relates to every object, place or person you come in contact with. If you're thinking hate, hate is what is being corresponded by you externally. And so, according to principle and by law, you must get back that same hate through a person, place, object, or circumstance. Your external life and surroundings are a reflection of what you're thinking and feeling within you. If you're feeling messed up in your head and heart, it reflects in the way you work externally, in the way you keep your work desk, or even your private home space. If you're in a calm state of mind internally, your external surroundings resonate with that sense of calm. And that's why it is humanly difficult and sometimes even impossible to conflict with the way we feel on the inside. Because it is hard to feel happy within and act like we're angry outwardly, or feel depressed from within and act like we're absolutely fine externally. This is also the reason why sometimes most of what we want never manifests, because we're constantly lying and in denial about our most raw and genuine thoughts and feelings. And this corresponds with everything from our health, jobs, money, and even relationships. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. That is primarily what the law of cause and effect is all about. Ralph Waldo Emerson even went to the length of calling the law of cause and effect the law of all laws. And that's probably because this is the law that equals what we laymen know to be as karma. Every thought, action, or word by you is a cause, and every reaction, feeling, or assumption that is created through that cause is effect. It's like a pendulum or a boomerang. It's like a bouncing ball, the harder you throw it, the higher it bounces back. The law of cause and effect states that every cause has an effect and every effect becomes the cause of something else. Suggesting that the universe is always in motion and progressed from a chain of events. It's like a pack of dominoes. Like a chain reaction, of sorts, if you may. This law, in its most basic working model, is proof the world is round and that the universe, too, is indeed in that same spherical shape, where if you throw something, it will come back to you, full circle. As they say, what goes around comes around. The law of compensation. This is an extension of the law of cause and effect, and by that way, of karma. The law states that you get what you give. Again, to quote Ralph Waldo Emerson, who was a staunch believer and practitioner of the laws, each person is compensated in like manner for that which he or she has contributed. This, he wrote in his essay titled Compensation. The law states that one shall always be compensated for the efforts and for the contribution, whatever it may be, however much or however little. So, if you invest only for today, you will benefit only for tomorrow. If you invest for a lifetime, you will never stop reaping the benefits. If the law of cause and effect ensures that each of your thoughts and actions return to you, the law of compensation ensures the quantity and quality of those returns. It's like running a business where if you market a product that is only a namesake, the revenue on that product will be just as namesake. Now, apply this same sense of business strategy to your life and the way you live every second of it. The law of compensation ensures that the universe remains balanced. It's the perfect weighing scale for all our thoughts and actions. Now, you probably see the reason behind the saying, give more than you get. There's a reason behind it all. The law of attraction. This is the law that The Secret elaborates on extensively, and so, this is the most common of all the laws. But, this law alone doesn't ensure everything until and unless you put it into implementation in tandem with the rest of the laws. The law of attraction, in its most physical understanding, is based on each human's magnetic field. The law of attraction is based on the simple understanding that if you want something with all your heart and soul, the universe will conspire to bring it to you. From no way, a way will be made. Think of yourself as a magnet. And as a magnet, you attract other magnets to you constantly. The law of attraction responds to your truest thoughts and actions, even if you don't know about it. John Assaraf, entrepreneur and money-making expert, says, "Our job is to hold on to the thoughts of that we want. Make it absolutely clear in our minds what we want, and from that we start to invoke one of the greatest laws in the universe, and that's the law of attraction. You become what you think about most, but you also attract what you think about most. If you see it in your mind, you're going to hold it in your hand." The law of perpetual transmutation of energy. Sounds like a mouthful, doesn't it? It's simpler to understand, really. It states that every individual has within themselves the power to change the circumstances, no matter what they may be. Wallace D. Wattles, author of The Science of Getting Rich, talks about the law, saying that, simply put, energy from the formless realm is constantly flowing into the material world and taking form. This energy is limitless and inexhaustible. As old forms are exhausted, they give way for new forms to emerge from the invisible hidden energy of the universe. What this means is that the energy in the universe is constantly moving from one object or individual into the other. If you imagine it, it's actually incredible. We can harness this energy to manifest and create whatever it is that we want by emitting the same vibrations. We can shape this formless energy with the thoughts in our minds. And change is the most fundamental tenet that this law is based on. The fact that the energy in and around us can be molded in whichever way we want. The fact that we are free to change our current conditions however and whenever we want to is proof that change really is the only constant in the universe, and it's never something to worry about. Because change is good, and this is the reason behind it. We're supposed to embrace change and mold it to our own wishes. The law of relativity. This is the realest of all 12 laws and ensures that the universal laws are not based on delusions of any kind. It's the law that gives us reason for everything that we and everyone else is undergoing. It grounds us like no other law. The law of relativity states that each person will receive a series of problems, tests of initiation, lessons, for the purpose of strengthening the light within. Each of these tests, lessons, are to be viewed as a challenge and remain connected to our hearts when proceeding to solve the problems. The law teaches us that we should always compare our issues and grievances with others to give us perspective and reason for introspection. It shows that no matter how bad we might presume our scenario to be, there is always someone else who is having it worse than us. The law of relativity shows us that it all really is relative. It's a matter of perspective. Everything in our material world is made real only by the relationships or in comparison with other things. So basically, nothing would ever exist until and unless we give meaning to it. In the spiritual realm, however, it becomes the opposite as we view things as ice. Eckhart Tolle, in his book, A New Earth, writes, "In form, you are and will always be inferior to some, superior to others. In essence, you are neither inferior nor superior to anyone." True self-esteem and true humility arise out of that realization. In the eyes of the ego, self-esteem and humility are contradictory. In truth, they are one and the same. Understanding the exact meaning of this will enlighten you to the relevance of the law of relativity. The law of polarity. According to the law, everything is in a continuum and has an opposite. Where there is black, there is white. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is good, there is also bad. And henceforth. This is why we are able to change our flow of thoughts or frequencies easily. If we're on a negative train, we can instantly change over to positive. The law of polarity validates that this is a universe of duality. Everything exists in twos. Every soul has a dual. The opposites, however, are never absolute. There is no set point of where it starts and ends. And that's what marks the polarity of the law. The law states that, in fact, these opposites are simply different manifestations of the same thing. According to Napoleon Hill, author of the classic Think and Grow Rich. Every adversity, every failure and every heartache carries with it the seed of an equivalent or a greater benefit. According to the Kybalion, an ancient book published in and around 1808 by a group of unidentified initiates. Everything is dual, everything has poles, everything has its pair of opposites, like and unlike are the same, opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree, extremes meet, all truths are but half-truths, all paradoxes may be reconciled. The law of rhythm. Everything happens for a reason, and everything happens at the right time. How often have we heard these sayings, rolled our eyes and moved on, treating it as another lot of gibberish spoken without meaning? Wrong. These words mean more than we believe they do. And the law of rhythm is what it all amounts and boils down to. In the Kybalion, it is said, everything flows out, and in everything has its tides, all things rise and fall. The pendulum swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. Every vibration has a certain rhythm to it, and that's how it attracts another vibration that falls into the same pattern or rhythmic flow. Through these rhythm cycles, seasons, developmental stages are created. The law states that the energy in the universe is like a pendulum. Whenever something swings to the right, it must then swing to the left. Everything in existence is involved in a dance. Swaying, flowing and swinging back and forth. Everything is either growing or dying. It's the circle of creation. A high period is always followed by a low period, in life, in economies and in relationships. It's the law of the universe. And it governs everything, including our health. And it doesn't mean there's anything wrong, it just means that during this lull, or lean period, you are to slow down, take rest and introspect. That's what the law of rhythm is for. The law of gender. This law states that everything exists in the masculine as well as the feminine. They are two sides of the same coin, yin and yang. This is the law that governs creation. In the animal kingdom, it manifests in the form of sex. The law of gender, in its simplest understanding, states that everything in nature is both male and female. Both are required equally in order for life to exist. No one is greater or lesser than the other. And both sides are inhabited within each individual, irrespective of whether or not one is male or female. Thank you for your time. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on the 12 universal laws to master life.